My name is Katelyn, and I'm a high school student at Carmont High School, and this is talking about my journey learning data science. So first, what is data science? Data science is an interdisciplinary field using scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge from unstructured and structured data. And this can help us discover patterns and underlying factors that contribute to certain problems. And I first was fascinated with biology, the complexity of the human genome. So the human genome contains 3 billion base pairs. And you can think of this as a book containing 3 billion letters coding for the secrets of life. And this made me interested in bioinformatics, which scientists can use to discover the mechanisms of human diseases. And I was also influenced by my dad, who is a drug discovery scientist in the pharmaceutical industry. And he often told me about the complexity of biological systems and also how he started using machine learning to help him discover novel medicines. And that's when I became more interested in learning data science. So as a beginner in high school, how do I get started? When I first met with Katelyn and discussed my interests with her, I mentioned data science, and she directed me to the Women in Data Science website. And when I was looking through the website, I discovered that the 2024 Datathon Challenge number 2 is currently taking place. And I thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to get hands-on experience with real-world data, and I joined the challenge. So the primary goal of this challenge was to build a machine learning model to predict the duration of time it takes for patients to receive their diagnosis of metastatic cancer. And for context, metastatic triple negative breast cancer is considered the most aggressive type of triple negative breast cancer and requires the most urgent and timely treatment. And the data set we provided is enriched with patient information, hospital information, so their location, socioeconomic status, and it contains 13,173 patient records and 148 variables. And by analyzing this data set, we can uncover the underlying factors that contribute to certain female populations' delayed diagnosis of cancer. So now I'll explain the basic data science workflow that I used. So the first usual step is data collection, but Gilead Sciences and Women in Data Science provided us with a complete data set for this challenge. So then I moved on to data cleaning, which is when you identify and correct the errors in the data set. So like removing duplicates, filling in missing values, all of that stuff. And then the next one is exploratory data analysis, which examines and visualizes the data using graphical techniques to summarize the main characteristics. And then the next thing is feature engineering, which is when you create new features or modify existing ones to improve the performance of your model, and then you build the model using computational or mathematical methods. And then the last part is model evaluation. So you assess the accuracy and the performance of your model, and then you can make future improvements. So after I did the data cleaning, I did the exploratory data analysis, and this is one of the graphs that I created. It's a density plot, and on the x-axis, it's the patient's age, and the y-axis is how long it took for them to receive their diagnosis. And we can see that there's 2 outlier groups, one who had their diagnosis at almost 200 days and one at almost 300 days. And the common factor for these groups is that the patient's age goes around 55 to 60. And some theories for why this pattern could occur is because women around this age tend to get screened for cancer less or have more responsibilities. So women around this age could be taking care of their kids, taking care of their parents, or even grandchildren. So they may have less time to take care of themselves. This is another example of my exploratory data analysis, and this is for the x-axis, the commute time in hours, and the y-axis is once again the diagnosis period in days. And we can see from the graph that people with commute times from 25 to about 33 hours tend to have a longer diagnosis period. And this could be because they have trouble finding transportation. For example, they need to take public transportation and it doesn't fit into their schedules, or they can't afford public transit fees and might find that it's a hassle to travel so far. And another reason could be because they are living in rural areas and have much less access to the appropriate healthcare options. And while we may never know exactly all of the reasons contributing to these patterns, by analyzing these data sets and identifying these certain patterns, we can reach out to these high-risk groups and prevent future harm to these communities. So the next step is choosing a model, and there's many models to choose from, such as random forest. And I decided on XGBoost because I am a beginner. I didn't really know where to start. So I searched online, and XGBoost seemed pretty well known for its good performance and accuracy, and also it's pretty popular in competition, so I decided to use that. And I got some help in coding in R and was able to write a script and use the model. So after many tries starting out, my score was only 105, and I kept trying and correcting the parameters, and finally got up to around 92. And I had to keep trying, and it took many tries, many long hours, and I finally got my score up to 81.498, and the winning score was 80.410. So I was 1 point off, and I was competing against 542 global participants, some of which were professionals in the industry, and I ranked 277. So this was a very valuable learning experience for me because I was able to find out my weaker areas, such as my coding skills, and it made me want to learn more and more about data science. So reflecting back, my findings really taught me a bunch of new lessons, and especially the process of these findings. For example, the graph I found for the patterns of women who received later diagnosis. I know a lot of women in these ages, such as my mom, and it made me really remind myself that I need to not only look out for myself, but should look out for other women, and especially in these ages, to remind themselves that while they do have a lot of responsibilities, it's also very important for them to take care of themselves. And this experience also made me want to become a Women in Data Science ambassador. So I'm very excited to host more events in the future and inspire other women to join in this field. And I'm going to continue my studying in computer programming, statistics, and data science, and look forward to competing in more WIDS datathons. Thank you.